An international summit was meant to be another routine evening of handshakes, speeches, and political courtesies. But what unfolded between Jill Biden and President Ibrahim Traoré became one of the most unforgettable moments of the year. The chandeliers sparkled above as cameras rolled. Diplomats whispered, and leaders tried to project their best images. Jill Biden walked to the podium with measured elegance, her confidence unmistakable. For weeks there had been speculation that she would use this stage to send a message, perhaps even to undermine Traoré, the young African leader whose rise to prominence had shaken traditional power structures. She began with a warm tone, yet her words carried sharp edges. True leadership, she said deliberately, glancing in his direction, is not about fiery speeches or dramatic gestures. It is about humility, accountability, and the willingness to listen. The implication was clear. The audience shifted in their seats, some anticipating a reaction, others quietly uncomfortable. All eyes turned to Traoré, waiting to see if he would defend himself, perhaps with anger or wounded pride. But he did not flinch. He remained composed, then slowly rose from his chair. His uniform caught the light as he walked to the podium with deliberate calm. When he spoke, his voice was firm yet steady, echoing with the weight of conviction. Humility, he began, is not measured by who bows lowest in front of cameras. It is measured by who kneels in service to their people. The room fell silent. Jill Biden's expression wavered, her smile faltering. Accountability, he continued, is not a speech written by others. It is the courage to stand before one's nation and admit when policies have failed, when promises have been broken, and when the people suffer while leaders prosper. Each sentence landed like a stone dropped into still water, ripples spreading outward. And as for listening, Traoré added, his gaze steady, I have spent nights in villages where children sleep hungry, and mothers whisper prayers over empty plates. I listened to them, not because it was convenient, but because their voices are the reason I lead. If leadership is listening, then I am a servant before I am a president. Gasps filled the hall, followed by an uneasy silence. Some began to clap softly, their admiration breaking through the tension. Cameras zoomed in, capturing Jill Biden's sudden discomfort. What was intended as a subtle rebuke had transformed into a global lesson on dignity and truth. Within minutes, social media erupted. Clips of the exchange flooded feeds in English, French, and dozens of African dialects. Hashtags like #TrueLeadership and #TraoréMoment trended across continents. Commentators struggled to frame it as anything other than a defining moment. A professor in the United States remarked, Traoré reminded us all that leadership is not a stage performance, it is a sacred responsibility. For Jill Biden, the evening ended in silence. The confidence she carried onto the stage seemed to evaporate. When asked afterward about Traoré's remarks, she replied softly, his passionate. But the world had already decided it was more than passion. It was conviction. His words reverberated far beyond the summit hall. Weeks later, young activists across Africa replayed the clip as a source of pride. Analysts dissected his sentences as if they were a manifesto. Historians noted it as a turning point, a moment when dignity reclaimed its place in the global political arena. What began as an attempt to diminish, a young leader instead elevated him to a higher stage. Jill Biden's remarks faded quickly from memory, but Traoré's words remained, quoted, studied, and cherished. In that hall, he did more than respond to criticism. He gave voice to millions who had long been unheard. And in doing so, he left behind not just a speech, but a moment of truth that would echo for years to come.